So, welcome back to my channel. Today we are putting together an old Brompton wheel. Now, it's not a new rim or a new hub. They have just been cleaned up. Basically, all the spokes was rusting through. The old nipples was all rusted. So it's just a plain rebuild. So I'm going to show you the easiest way that I do it. We're not going to put on the alloy nipples because we all know that alloy nipples over time just tend to shatter. So I'm swapping those out for brass ones. So put them down as well. There we are. And then what we'll do is get the spokes, drop a little bit of oil on those threads and just rub that around. Just eases on the nipples, and there we are. Right, so let's get to it. So usually there's branding, but this is a very old one. I can't remember how old it was. But this has been passed on to me just for a rebuild. So today we're going to start. So we're going to go with the first spoke. So because there's no branding, any holes are gold with this one. So we'll just drop that one straight down like so. And that's from the drive side, drop it straight down. And then, as I always say, we'll work to the left. So we'll put this one in and up there. And then that way, that will create the cradle like that, and then we'll locate the valve hole and then sticking to the left. As you can see, the holes are slightly off center, so given that the first one is going to go on the dry side straight in there, and if I can do this, so we'll get the first two spokes in, get some nipples on there. Now this is the easiest way I find doing this, so there we are, that's those in. And then what we can do now is drop it, miss one, drop it in the next, and then we'll go one, two, three, four, and we'll keep going fourfold along on every single one. Then just drop that nipple in, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will go around the whole of this side in that exact pattern. So I'll speed this little bit up and then I'll show you the next step. So let's do this. So that is all of those in on that side. So now what we'll do is we'll work on the non-drive side. There's the spoke hole. Obviously they're the two main ones that we dropped in. So now we need to go from the other side, miss one, and then pull one through, and then go left of that spoke. So we'll do that. So you should end up with something like that. So there's the valve hole, there's your two main spokes, and then obviously it's gone round in that exact same pattern. And then obviously with it, you then now need to obviously get the actual rotation right as well. So we'll do that. So let's start on actually getting the right spokes in the right direction on this. So I want to hold it and swivel it. So as you can see there's a valve hole. So what we'll do now is we'll start putting in the drive side again. Then obviously with this one we are only crossing 2 on this one, so because obviously it's a Brompton, so, and this is where it gets a bit fiddly, and it is hard to hold the hub because it is a bit of a heavy hub. So let's start getting all these in. So basically I'm going to go around and set up everyone on that side now. So I'll keep doing the same all the way around. So straight up over both, and then make sure you've got it coming on the right side of the hole. So go around, you will have to find yourself moving the hub around until you get all the spokes in, until it all starts coming together. You'll find that it will be a bit all over the place. So you might need to find it easier if I get my twizzle stick, my little Twizzler. There you go, and then I will go around and speed this bit up. And that is that side. So the valve being there, you can see the first spoke in is pulling slightly off that direction, so it means that when we get the spokes in the other side, you'll find that you'll have a nice gap there for your pump. So because of the spokes on this side will be coming out at this angle, what we can do is just simply drop all them spokes down, all the holes, there we are. So we can now start putting all of the spokes in on this side. And excuse the noise in the background, my dog is going absolutely, she's having a speedy moment around the garden. She's absolutely bonkers. Perfect. That is all the spokes in, and as you can see, there's the actual valve, and if you built it right, you should have that large opening. And just remember, with Bromptons, they don't go like over or under, they build them straight across on these. Plus there's such small wheels, the strength's going to be there once you've got all these trued up. For some reason you do get an extra spoke in the pack, so you order a pack of 28, you'll get 29 in there. So before we go on to truing and getting all this finished up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around just the drive side to begin with and take the nipples down, so there's only kind of like 3 threads remaining. And this is just the start of basically building that tension for the wheel. You don't want to just start and just do all the spokes starting from there, because you kind of want to tension the wheel up all together, like slowly. So just taking it down so there's a few threads, and we'll go around the drive side. So I'll speed the drive side up. Right, so that was the drive side. I've taken them all down to the last couple of threads. Now what I'm going to do is start at the valve again and do the non-drive side all the way around. So it's down to the last couple of threads. Right, so that is every nipple down to like the last thread or two, and what you should find at this point is that hub is generally already started to stiffen up in there, so there's no movement hardly. But obviously we need to get on to the truing of the wheel, which we will get this in the wheel truing stand and start building that tension up, and obviously get this all built. What I have learned is my twizzle stick, it's a bit old, it's a bit worn at an angle, so probably need a new one of them. That's probably about 8 years old, so yeah, it's time for a new one of those, I think. So yeah, we will get this in the truing stand now, get this all trued up, get it all finished, and then it's done. And that is the most simplest way to put together a Brompton wheel. Made easy. I see a lot of videos where people start at different sections and they'll do one entire side first, then the other, but I just find it easier working to the left of that valve, drop straight down, the other one straight up, and then building it as you just saw in this video. So I'll flip the camera around now, we'll get this in the wheel truing stand, and I'll just give you a few pointers on building up that tension and getting it right first time. So let's do that. So got it in the wheel truing stand. As you can see, it's not far out, so just a slight little bit of tweaking we need to do. So I'll try and get this on the best views possible for you. But what I'm going to do is, because we've still got a couple of threads left, is I'm going to take them down to the very final thread. So I'm going to do that all the way around on the drive side, just taking it down, just so it's literally, the nipple is just showing, no threads. That one just like quarter turn, that one needs a full turn off maybe, and then, so just slowly just nipping up those nipples just to the end of those threads, just so there's no thread showing. And then by the time you've done that, you'll feel that the spokes will start to come under tension. And then once we've done the drive side, we'll go around and nip up the non-drive side, by probably a turn, half a turn, just so there's no thread showing, and then we can start the process of doing. If you want to build it up really slowly, then I'll go for quarter turn, quarter turn. So that was the drive side, so I'm now going to go around and just nip up the spokes on the non-drive side, just so there's no thread showing, and we'll complete that all the way around. And there we are. So now we know that every one of those are all at the final thread. We can see that the wheel is slightly off to the non-drive side a little bit, and obviously we can check dishing, but what I'm going to do is going to go around on the drive side and do one full turn. And you can generally feel it in your fingers as well. So in just those few small runs around the wheel, you can really feel the wheel starting to find that tension, and it's starting to all pull together very nicely now. So I'm going to go around and do a half turn on the non-drive. That one feels just a smidge loose. I did a full turn on that one and a half turn on that one. So now you can see it's really starting to come together. So it's got a little bit of left and right, which we will rectify now while the spokes aren't fully tensioned up. So there we are. So fine where it's touching. So we'll pull this across just a slight little bit. And obviously always remember to double check with dishing anyway, because your truing stand like mine isn't always, these can be out, so now you just basically go around and just that way it makes contact, and you can see very quickly that the rim, especially on these smaller Brompton ones, you find that they start very quickly coming into shape. So let's check the up and down. So if you've got a bit of up and down like there, then you want to tension both the spokes on both sides of the wheel, just so it brings it straight up rather than pulling it out to one side. And it's all about just taking your time with it, doing smaller adjustments when you get to this point, just because a turn in the wrong direction can throw the whole wheel out. In a second, what I'll do is I'll do the first stress test, which means I'm going to put it on the floor and then put a slight little bit of weight down, just to make sure that everything's seated correctly, and just makes for a stronger wheel when you slowly build up the tension. You do your stress checks. Now, after that little bit of tinkering there, I'm going to do half a turn, quarter turn, just where it's rubbing, just to get that dialed in, just a little bit more. There we are, it's coming together. So what I'll do now is I will give it a stress check. And as I say, stress check on the floor or a hard surface. Basically, we're just going to push down on both sides. Give the spokes a bit of a squeeze as well. See, the issue with you can't get the actual tension, as most traditional wheels, you use one of them and you'll check the actual tension, but you're not going to get it on this. So it is just experience and actually just feeling those spokes. But what we can do is we'll check the dishing on there. We'll see where we need to pull it over. And obviously they're going to go flat on the rim, and the dishing tool goes straight down onto the outer lock nut, not the actual end of the actual axle. Nip that back up. We'll flip that over. So you can see there that it's off about 4 mil. So all that means is it needs to come over, the rim needs to be adjusted over a little bit more. So we'll get to that now. So that is basically going to go back in the tune stand, obviously, to make sure we've got that adjustment all adjusted up. So we are going to, if the hub is sitting that way, we need to pull the hub that way, which means the rim needs to go that way. So we need to dish it over to the drive side just a little. So get the wheel back in. So in the actual tune stand, as you can see, when you put that in, you can see that arm's touching, but there's about a couple of mil gap from there. So all we'll do now, because we need to send the wheel that way, is I'm going to go start from the valve hole. Start from the valve hole and just do the drive side, and we're going to put half a turn on every spoke on that drive side. There we are. You can already see that that wheel's pulled it across more. So we'll just trim stand in. Identify a few key areas where it just needs a slight tweak across. Make sure you're getting that right. And it's this stage where you just spend that little extra time just doing those slight little bit of adjustments. So what I'd normally do here, and I do this many times throughout building wheels, just in between. Giving them a little squeeze as well, making sure that every single part of it is all tensioned up nice and equal. And then again, in between doing that, we'll give the dish in just another check. And so we will, if it rides up, then what you do is you pull that back up and then reset it on this side of the wheel. Down. Tighten that, make sure obviously that's flat. And you can see there that is now flat, all on that rim, and then the same for that side as well. So just by, obviously with that being about 4 mil out of addition, obviously we pulled it over by a couple of mil, and that's then centralized obviously that hub in the actual wheel. So now with this will just need ever so slight final tweaks and a few more stress checks, and that will be done. As you can see, you don't want any spokes protruding out the end of the nipples. This isn't a double walled rim. As I say, it's quite an old Brompton that this came off, quite an old rim, quite an old hub. So yeah, we're just giving it a bit more of a lease of life. You can see the rim indicator wear line is still there. It's not concaved in any way, so this is good for many more years now. So I'll crack on tweaking that. Like I say, only ever so slight tweaks now needed. And that is a job well done. So if you've got this far, and if you ever have any questions about building wheels or anything like that, feel free to ask. And I will now drink my coffee and go around and give every single little tweak needed, and it is only minor. As you can see there, that's less than half a turn, and that just stops that from rubbing, and we are pretty much there in terms of the wheel being perfectly round and ready to ride. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.